On this exact day, Lazy Girl ran into the house with the invitations in her hand.
The ball invitations have arrived now! Sister, come here!
Her diligent sister was also very happy about this. Both of them started to get ready right away. The diligent girl got dressed in the dress that she sewed all by herself. Lazy Girl, however, didn't like any of the dresses she tried on.
Why don't I have a fluffy pink dress to wear? Oh, goodness!
Her sister hurriedly got her out of the house so that they wouldn't have delays and be late for the ball. And when they finally arrived at the fancy ballroom, the lights and music wowed them, and they chatted to the beautifully dressed people. The diligent girl got carried away by the music and started dancing. In contrast, Lazy Girl was standing in the corner complaining and grumbling just because she didn't like the dress she was wearing. Suddenly, a golden key that was shining on the ground caught her eye. She put the key in her pocket and started wandering around the palace without being seen by anyone around. Then, in one of the dozens of rooms, she found a chest, and she excitedly put the key in the lock. But the key didn't want to turn. So then next, she tried her luck at a pretty jukebox. But the key didn't work in its lock either. But then, the last thing she noticed was the shabby wardrobe behind her.
Ugh, what will I even find in this dirty wardrobe? Perhaps a mouse will come out of it.
Lazy Girl put the key she found in the hole, and the key magically opened the doors of the wardrobe right away. Lazy Girl put her hand into the wardrobe and started to grabble curiously. There's nothing in here, just as I expected. But then, she held a wonderful dress in her hand. Very surprised, she searched the inside of the wardrobe once again. This time, she took out a purple skirt. Even though the wardrobe seemed quite empty, new clothes kept on magically appearing every time the Lazy Girl put her hands inside.
I can't believe it! This wardrobe is magical!
And while she was constantly pulling out new clothes, the door suddenly opened. It was the diligent girl. What are you doing here? What are all these clothes?
Well, it's an endless wardrobe. If I take a few clothing items, I'm sure no one will notice, right?
But these don't belong to you. You can't steal.
But the Lazy Girl just continued to go into the wardrobe with a greedy attitude as she wanted to find a pink fluffy dress. But at that moment, the big clock in the room rang. Dong! And then, the door of the magic wardrobe simply closed, also capturing the Lazy Girl inside. "Help me!" cried the Lazy Girl. Then her sister tried her best to open the wardrobe in panic.
Please, sister, can you please save me? It's very dark in here and completely empty.
While the diligent girl was hurriedly turning the lock, something happened. Snap! The key broke inside. "Ah, what now?" said Diligent Girl. This time, she put her hands between the doors and tried to open the wardrobe with all the strength she could muster. Then after a while, the wardrobe doors finally opened, and the Lazy Girl came out of the wardrobe that she had been stuck inside. Without even looking back for 1 second, the sisters walked away from the wardrobe, and they left the palace. And then from that day on, the Lazy Girl promised to never be greedy again. And she promised never to take anyone's belongings without getting their permission first.
Cinderella's story. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, lived a beautiful girl named Cinderella. After Cinderella's kind mother died, her father married Lady Puffy. Lady Puffy had 2 arrogant, jealous, and quarrelsome daughters, just like herself. They would fight for hours, even over something as simple as a hairbrush.
Ah! Stop it! I said stop it! Give it back! It's mine! No! No!
One day, Cinderella's father had to take a long journey. Lady Puffy took this chance to give all the hard work in the house to poor Cinderella. Cleaning the whole house, carrying wood to the fireplace, and preparing meals took up all of Cinderella's time. Despite her hard work, Lady Puffy and her daughters were cruel and proud.
Mother, Cinderella's filthy. Don't let her eat in the same room with us. Don't let her sleep in our room. We're having nightmares.
You heard what my beautiful daughters have said. Go and find a place to sleep in the attic. Poor Cinderella settled in a dusty old room in the attic. Out of her small window, she looked down to the garden. And from time to time, she would talk to a snow-white pigeon.
Why, hello, sweet pigeon.
As the days went on by, while cleaning up her room in the attic, Cinderella met two little mice.
Who are you little guys? Hi, I'm Cheddar. I am Mozzarella. And I am Cinderella. You little guys love to eat cheese, don't you? I will prepare a delicious meal for you. Yes. We are starving. We haven't been able to go to the kitchen for hours. There is a mean, hairy, sharp monster down there. That nasty cat, Papu. First thing tomorrow morning, I'm going to prepare a delicious breakfast for you two.
The next morning, Cinderella went to the kitchen without making any noise. The mean cat, Papu, waited in front of the tiny mouse hole in the kitchen to hunt Cheddar and Mozzarella. Cinderella silently took some pieces of cheese and headed to the attic. But then, Lady Puffy's daughters caught her.
What are you holding in your hand? And where are you going with it? It's just some cheese for breakfast. Mom! Cinderella is stealing our food. I'm stealing? I would never steal anything. A thief and a liar. What an evil girl you are.
The little mice went downstairs and started to run around the kitchen to scare the evil sisters.
Ah! Oh no! A mouse! There's a mouse in the house! Mom, I'm scared! Not one mouse, it's two! Ah!
Lady Puffy was just about to catch the mice when there was a knock at the door. The royal ambassador arrived.
His Majesty the Royal Prince has prepared a grand ball at the castle tomorrow night. All the young ladies around the country are invited to this ball.
As soon as they heard about the grand ball, Jezebel and Cassandra ran with huge excitement to their rooms and started to pick dresses for this important evening. Also, Lady Puffy wanted her daughters to look beautiful. So, the evil stepsisters forced Cinderella to prepare beautiful ball dresses for them. The next day arrived. Cinderella was very tired. Her little friends tried to wake her up.
Cinderella, wake up! Wake up! You have to go to the ball! But I don't even have a dress. The only dress I have is dirty. Close your eyes, Cinderella. We have a surprise for you.
Her little friends took Cinderella to the middle of the room. The white pigeon lifted the cover of the wall with its beak.
Ta-da! Ta-da! I can't believe it. It looks amazing.
Cinderella put on her new dress and did her hair, and finally went downstairs. But her evil stepsisters saw Cinderella and went crazy with jealousy. Lady Puffy didn't want Cinderella to go to the ball when she saw that she was prettier than her own daughters. So she threw a bowl of beans into the fireplace in the living room for Cinderella to pick up.
If you can pick up the beans out of the ashes and put them back into the bowl within 5 minutes, you can come to the ball with us.
Cinderella wanted to go to the ball so much that she began to pick up the beans. Her little friends saw her situation and came to help. Within 5 minutes, they picked up all the beans and put them back into the bowl. Cinderella ran after Lady Puffy, who was already leaving, and showed the full bowl to her. Lady Puffy still did not want Cinderella to go to the ball, so this time she used Cinderella's dirty dress as an excuse, and they left Cinderella in the house and went on to the prince's castle. Poor Cinderella was very sad. She sat down in the garden and wept and cried right under a hazelnut tree that her mother had planted long ago. And just then, the hazelnut tree began to shake and to shine, and a beautiful fairy appeared in front of Cinderella.
My name is Leobelle, and I am here to help you. Don't be sad. You will go to that ball as well. But how am I supposed to go to the ball like this? Leave that to me. I just need a pumpkin. The other things I need are already here.
Cinderella came back, holding a pumpkin in her hands. Fairy Leobelle began to wave her magic wand around and turned the pumpkin into a beautiful coach. The mice into very nice horses, and the pigeon into a well-dressed coach driver. Cinderella couldn't believe what she saw.
But how did you do this, Leobelle?
The fairy waved her magic wand again and put Cinderella in a beautiful blue dress. On her feet appeared sparkling glass slippers.
I look like a princess now. Thank you, Leobelle. Now it's time for you to go to the ball. Hurry up.
The fairy warned Cinderella before she headed to the ball.
But don't forget, you need to be back at midnight, or else the magic will be gone, and everything will be as it was before.
Cinderella listened to the fairy carefully and finally headed to the castle. The pumpkin coach stopped in front of the big castle. Cinderella, with her overwhelming beauty, entered the castle. The guests of the ball saw Cinderella and wondered who this beautiful young lady was. Neither Lady Puffy nor her daughters realized that this beautiful girl was Cinderella. Prince Leo moved towards Cinderella and fell in love at first sight.
Beautiful young lady, may I have this dance, please?
Cinderella was mesmerized by the magical dance with Prince Leo, so that she forgot about the time. When the clock was just about to strike 12, she remembered the fairy's warning.
You need to be back at midnight, or else.
Cinderella left the prince back and ran out of the castle quickly.
Where are you going? I don't even know your name.
Cinderella ran down the castle's stairs and all of a sudden lost one of her glass slippers. Unfortunately, she did not have time to go back and take it, so she ran to the coach as fast as she could and left the castle.
Find the beautiful owner of this lost slipper. If necessary, every girl in the country shall try on this shoe.
As soon as the clock struck 12, everything turned back to what it was before. Cinderella went back to her room in the attic. She thought about the magical night she had had with Prince Leo and realized that she fell in love. But it seemed to be impossible that the prince would recognize her with her old dirty clothes. Time passed, and the prince had a huge mansion built next to the castle for the precious glass slipper. All the young girls living in the next country visited this place to try the slipper on. Even Lady Puffy and her daughters visited the famous mansion, but did not take Cinderella with them. You stay at home. It is impossible that the shoe belongs to you.
Right, the shoe is going to fit Cassandra or to me. But I also am a young girl living in this country. I have the right to try on the shoe as well.
Lady Puffy did not even listen to Cinderella. She locked her up in the house and left with her daughters. Of course, the glass slippers did neither fit to Cassandra's feet nor to Jezebel's.
If I try only a little bit more, I think it will fit.
At nighttime, when the mansion's lights were sparkling, Cinderella made it out of the house, thanks to mozzarella and cheddar. She arrived at the majestic mansion and walked towards the sparkling glass slipper. As she was just about to try on the shoe, Prince Leo stepped into the room.
Stop. Don't move. You're going to damage the shoe.
No. It's my shoe. It fits me perfectly.
She is telling the truth. She is Cinderella.
Cinderella courageously put on the shoe in front of Prince Leo, and he realized that the shoe fits perfectly
That night.
to Cinderella.
You are the beautiful girl I danced with on that night. May I know your name?
My name is Cinderella, Your Highness.
Will you marry me, Cinderella?
Cinderella happily said yes to the prince, whom she fell in love with. They got married in the big castle and lived happily ever after.
Once upon a time, there were two sisters, Mangita and Larina, who lived in a small cottage. Mangita was a hard worker. She used to work in her father's grocery store in her spare time. Larina, on the other hand, loved to travel and have fun. When she was bored, she looked at herself by the river and combed her hair for a long time.
Today, I am more beautiful than my sister again.
One day, Mangita and Larina's father went on a long journey from which there was no return. Although Mangita was very sad about her father's departure, Larina was so happy.
Hee. Now every day I can sit by the river until morning.
After her father left, Mangita started working harder. She was sweeping the floor in the mornings, making a delicious soup in the afternoon, and hanging the laundry. Larina's only pastime was to cause trouble for her sister. She was dirtying the carpets in the house, pouring ice-cold water into the cooked soup. Why is the soup still cold? And why are these carpets dirty? I just cleaned them.
The animals you feed have made them dirty. Huh!
One day, Larina went out for a walk in the forest. She was just plucking the unripe fruit and threw them into the river. Meanwhile, an old woman who was walking slowly approached her.
Hello, beautiful girl. I'm very hungry. Can you give me some fruit too?
Lorena handed the old woman the tasteless wild strawberries she had just picked.
Ma'am, you can eat as much as you want. These are the most delicious strawberries in the world.
The old woman had a stomachache as soon as she ate the strawberries.
Are these strawberries delicious? Ooh! Thank you anyway.
As Lorena was returning home, the old woman fell asleep. While Mangita was out picking vegetables in the forest for the meal, she saw the old woman who fell ill. She immediately brought her home and put her on the bed.
What is this woman doing in our house? She smells so bad.
Don't say that, Lorena. The woman is very sick. We must feed her with healthy food to heal her. Mangita prepared hot soups and herbal teas for the old woman. On the other hand, Lorena secretly threw away the soups and put soil in the herbal teas. Lorena, did you put soil in this herbal tea? Tell me now!
No, it wasn't me. That old woman put it herself.
Within a few days, the old woman recovered.
You are a kind-hearted girl, Mangita. If you ever get sick, eat these blueberries every day. You'll recover immediately.
Mangita, who was very tired of doing housework alone for a long time, eventually fell very ill and was lying in bed. Lorena, can you bring the blueberries the old lady gave me? But Lorena ate all the blueberries herself.
There is nothing here. The birds you feed must have eaten them.
Mangita became even more sluggish and fell asleep in a sweat. Lorena, on the other hand, left the house and went to the river to comb her hair. At that time, the old woman appeared before her again.
Hey, little girl, where is your sister? She packed fruit in sacks and went to work. Ugh, what's it to you?
The old woman realized that Lorena was lying. She immediately went to their house to see Mangita. When the old woman saw this young girl who was helping her, sweating and sick, she was very upset and wept for a long time. Lorena, who was watching them from the window, laughed out loud. Just then, the old woman turned into a beautiful fairy. Lorena was very surprised to see the fairy. She happily entered the house.
You are a fairy. I opened my home to you. You owe me. Give me the most beautiful hair in the world. Quick, use magic now and make my wish come true.
In fact, when the fairy saw Lorena for the first time, she turned into an old woman to see if she was a good person. I gave the opportunity to do one favor, but you always did bad. At that moment, the fairy waved her magic wand from side to side. Lorena's hair has turned into ivy.
Ah, my hair! What happened to my hair? They're so ugly now. Help!
Lorena ran to the riverside in fear and looked at her hair. As flies were flying around her head, her ivy hair was stuck in the ground all of a sudden. I've become so ugly. I don't want to look at myself anymore. At that time, the fairy fed Mangita a blueberry, and Mangita finally recovered and opened her eyes. Thank you, fairy. I feel so much better now. The fairy waved her wand twice and turned the little cottage they lived in into a stunning palace. Mangita was very surprised and impressed when she saw the palace. Goodness is always rewarded, young girl, and this palace is your reward. Thank you, fairy. What about my sister? What happened to her? Your sister will forever stare at her ugly reflection by the riverside. But I love my sister so much. What's the point of living alone in this huge palace without her? Give us a happy life in our cottage again, Fairy. That's all I wish from you. The fairy was very happy when she heard Mangita's words. First, she transformed the magnificent palace back into a cottage again. Later, she went to Lorena and restored her ivy hair to its former beautiful state with her magic wand. Lorena hugged Mangita happily. You saved me. I'm very sorry. I will be a good person now. I promise. Lorena understood at that moment that the happiness of helping people is worth everything. Because happiness becomes more beautiful when shared.
Once upon a time, in a small town, lived 2 siblings, a boy and a girl. The boy's name was Harry, and he was so naughty. And the girl's name was Sally. She was very smart, but also a bit forgetful. Harry and his older sister Sally were very poor. They often went to bed with their stomachs empty and were hungry every day. At night, it was hard for them to go to sleep because their stomachs hurt. One day, Sally was so hungry, her stomach would not stop rumbling.
Oh, we haven't eaten a bite for days.
Sally wanted to take a walk in the park to forget her hunger and left the house. She took her canteen of water with her. After a while, she wanted to drink some water and rest. However, just then, an old woman in shabby clothes appeared before her. The woman slowly walked up to Sally.
Girl, give me a sip of water. I haven't had a drink of water for days. I'm so thirsty. Of course, here you go. You can drink as much as you want.
The old woman drank the water and turned into a beautiful young fairy in an instant.
A fairy! I want to thank you for your help, beautiful girl. Make a wish. My brother Harry and I are very poor and hungry for days. All right, look on the table as soon as you get home. You will see a magic bowl. A magic bowl? Yes. When you say cook bowl, cook a hot meal. It will cook for you sweet porridge. When you say stop bowl, I'm full. It will stop cooking. Now you and your brother will never go hungry. Thank you so much, young fairy. Hey, little girl, don't forget the magic words for the magic bowl.
Sally ran back home. Indeed, as the fairy said, there was a bowl on the table.
Sister, where did this fancy bowl come from?
It's not fancy, Harry. It's magical. This is a magic bowl.
Okay, but what good is an empty bowl, even if it is magic?
Now, be quiet and watch. Cook, bowl, cook a hot meal.
After the magic words, the bowl suddenly got hot and started to cook sweet porridge.
But this... How does this happen? The bowl is truly magical, so we won't be hungry anymore.
Harry and Sally ate not 1 or 2, but 10 plates of sweet porridge. And when they were finally done, Sally said the magic words to stop the bowl from making more.
Oh, I'm finally full. This porridge is delicious.
Oh, I could eat this every day.
You'll never believe how I got this magic.
Indeed, Sally and Harry ate sweet porridge for days and never got tired of the taste. One day, before Sally went out, she wanted to tell her brother Harry how to stop the bowl from cooking.
Harry! Harry! I have to tell you something very important. Come now.
Harry ignored his sister's call and didn't come to her, so Sally went to him. But just in that moment, she forgot what she was going to say, because she was often forgetful.
What is it?
Why are you standing over me? I'm sleeping, can't you see?
I was going to say something very important, but...
You forgot, huh? Classic Sally. A sister with a fish memory.
Don't be so mean, Harry. Anyway, I better go. But once she was outside, Sally remembered what she had to say to her brother. Oh, now I remember. I had to remind him how to stop the magic bowl. Oh well, Harry won't wake up until I get home anyway. But sure enough, Harry woke up while she was away and got up from his bed and went to the table because he was very hungry.
Cook, bowl. Cook a hot meal.
The magic bowl started to heat up immediately. The home smelled of sweet porridge again. Harry had eaten a large plate of sweet porridge and wanted to stop the magic bowl from cooking.
Oh, I ate so much. I think that's enough for breakfast. Stop, bowl. Don't cook, magic bowl. Stop.
But the magic bowl didn't stop cooking because those were not correct magic words.
Dish, hocus, hocus, stop.
The magic bowl did not stop. It continued to cook sweet porridge.
Oh no! What am I going to do now? This bowl won't stop. Stop, broken bowl. You're making a disaster.
No matter what Harry said, the bowl kept cooking sweet porridge. By the time Sally returned home, almost the whole house was full of porridge. My brother probably hasn't woken up yet, so now I'll cook him a delicious porridge. Wah! What is this? When Sally couldn't open the door of the house, she looked through the window. And what did she see? The whole house was sticky and full of porridge, as her brother Harry couldn't stop the bowl from cooking. Oh, this is awful! Harry!
Oh, sister, help me. I'm gonna fall in.
Stop, bowl! I'm full! After Sally's magic words, the bowl finally stopped cooking porridge, so Harry was saved from drowning in porridge.
Ha-ha! Hey, yeah! Thank you, Sally. What are we gonna do with all this sweet porridge now? Our house is all porridgey.
Sally had a great idea. She immediately went and called her other poor neighbors in the neighborhood. Each of them lined up outside Sally's house. While Harry filled the plates with delicious porridge, Sally handed them out to their hungry and poor neighbors.
Thank you so much, Sally. You have fed our hungry stomachs.
Yum! So delicious!
Harry and Sally were very happy to help poor people like themselves. It felt good to help out their starving neighbors. Then, an old, poor-looking man came to them.
Oh, it is true. A magic bowl of porridge. I've been walking for days to find food for my wife and children. I am so tired. Please, give me the magic bowl that I may go home and feed my family. What are we going to do now, Sally? If we give the magic bowl, we'll both starve.
Don't think like that, Harry. The man's children are hungry. Children should not go hungry in this world. Take the bowl and take it home to your family. At that moment, the man turned into a beautiful young fairy. You are the fairy who did me a favor.
You have made me really happy, Harry and Sally. You fed the poor people living in the town and helped the man whose children were hungry. In return for your favor, you can keep the magic bowl of porridge forever. You deserve it. Really? Hooray!
Every day from then on, Harry and Sally continued to hand out porridge to the poor people of the town. Their generous hearts became as sweet as the porridge they shared. As they saw happy children, young and old people with their stomachs full, they also lived a happy and peaceful life.
Once upon a time, in a village far, far away, there was a sly woman who didn't like to work at all. This woman had 2 daughters named Emily and Emma. Emma was a lazy and untalented girl. Emily, on the other hand, was a very hard-working and very talented girl. But their mother loved Emma more because she was younger, and she was still treating her like a baby. That's why she had Emily do all of the work.
Emily, hurry up and finish the chores so you can go out and sell the cross-stitches.
Because of her mother and sister's laziness, only Emily went to the market in the afternoons and sold her handcrafted cross-stitch. When she got home, her mother would only cook for Emma. Emily, on the other hand, tried to feel full by eating the leftovers from the meals. One day, Emily went outside to edge of the well to make a cross-stitch. She started to embroider her cross-stitch with the crochet hook in her hand. At that moment, suddenly, a rooster mounted on her and began to crow.
Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Ow! Get off my head, you rooster! Oh no! My cross-stitch!
Emily was so sad that she dropped her cross-stitch into the well.
Mother is going to be so upset if she finds out. What will I do now?
Cock-a-doodle-doo! Use your brain and the bucket! Brain bucket, cock-a-doodle-doo!
Emily, as the rooster said, reached for the bucket hanging in the well. She was about to take the bucket with her hand when she lost her balance for a moment and started to fall into the well. When Emily opened her eyes, she found herself in a garden covered with colorful flowers.
What a beautiful place! Where am I anyway?
When she walked for a while, a rabbit appeared in front of her.
Could you help me, please? I can't get the carrot out.
Emily immediately went to help him and pulled the carrot that the rabbit wanted from the ground in one move.
Thank you so much!
As the rabbit happily walked away, Emily went her own way.
Hey, will you give me water or I'll wither and rot?
She saw a rose that was about to dry a little further ahead. Emily immediately came to the fountain to fulfill the rose's wish, took some water in her palm and poured it into the roots of the rose. The rose was revived and gave off a fragrant scent.
Thank you so much! Now I'll be able to live a long, happy life.
Emily continued on her way. After a while, she came across a house. In front of the house, a strange woman who looked like an evil witch was looking at her. Emily was so scared of this woman. She wanted to get away from there immediately.
You don't have to be afraid, my child. Come, I have something to tell you.
Emily went to the woman curiously.
My name is Holly. Everyone loves me very much. If you take good care of my little house, you could stay here as long as you want. All I ask of you is to cover my bed with feathers every morning. I don't know how to get home anyway. I guess I can stay for a bit.
Emily took very good care of the house, as Mother Holly wanted. Every morning, without getting bored, she did not neglect to cover Mother Holly's bed with feathers. Mother Holly loved Emily very much, so she was preparing very good meals for her in the evenings. This is how the days went by. Although Emily was very happy here, she started to miss her real home.
Mother Holly, you know I love you so much, but I want to go home now.
Oh, Emily, I'm very happy that you worked here and stayed with me for so long. Of course you can go home now. I will accompany you on the way.
Oh, thank you, Mother Holly.
Mother Holly brought Emily to a big golden door. The moment Emily was walking through the store, she's covered in brand new clothes and gold.
A little gift for you for being so caring and working for me. Here's the crochet hook and cross stitch you dropped into the well. Please take it.
Oh, thank you so much, Mother Holly. You're a good person.
Later, Mother Holly covered Emily's eyes with her hands and asked her to count to 3.
1, 2, 3.
When Emily opened her eyes, she found herself in front of her house.
Cock-a-doodle-doo! Emily's back, and she's a golden girl now!
Seeing Emily, her mother and her sister Emma could not hide their surprise.
But how did you find such a beautiful dress? Emma, hush now. My dearest daughter, I was so worried about you. Why don't you tell me where you found all that jewelry?
Emily explained everything one by one. At that moment, her mother thought that Emma could do the same. She greedily sent Emma to the edge of the well. Emma threw the cross-stitch and crochet hook into the well. She jumped after them too. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in that mysterious garden where Emily had come from. She saw a rabbit after walking for a while. The rabbit asked Emma for help to get the carrot out of the ground.
No way! I can't get my hands dirty for a silly little rabbit.
Emma walked away without helping the rabbit. Just ahead, she saw a rose that was about to dry up. Rose asked for her help.
I can't give you water. You have all those thorns. They might hurt my hands.
Emma left without helping Rose. Finally, she came across Mother Holly's house.
I heard you're in need of someone to work here. I'm more than happy to take the job.
Mother Holly told Emma what she had to do at the house.
Remember, every morning you will lay feathers on my bed.
Emma agreed to everything. She worked well on the first day, laying the feathers neatly on the bed. But in the next few days, she started to avoid work. The house was getting dirty day by day, and Emma didn't care about the feathers on Mother Holly's bed. Mother Holly was furious when she saw that Emma wasn't working as promised.
I think it's time for you to go home.
Emma was overjoyed to hear this, because she wanted to reach gold jewelry and beautiful clothes as soon as possible.
Yes, that's right. I get my prize and I get to go home.
Mother Holly brought her to the Golden Gate. When Emma walked through the door, mud started to rain down on her instead of gold.
What's going on? What's this? This door didn't rain gold on you because you didn't do things right. Now count to 3 and go back home. 1, 2, 3.
Then she found herself in the garden of her home. Seeing her, the roosters started to crow.
Cock-a-doodle-doo! Emma's back, and she's all muddy! Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Her mother and sister Emily were shocked to see her in the mud. Emma told them that these muddy clothes were her reward for not doing the chores Mother Holly had given her properly. From that day on, Emma understood the importance of doing a job with love and got smarter and started to make cross-stitch just like her older sister Emily. Thus, the two sisters lived a happy life by making and selling cross-stitch together.